everyone. I'm okay. So I can just press this one. Does this work? Okay.
Press it.
Okay. All right. So I guess what I'm going to talk about in my presentation is just some of my favorite activities that we did at Dongxing Elementary in Zhubei in semester 1. And I think one issue that I encountered while at Dongxing is that we didn't have the greatest course books, and I think many of the teachers here will agree with me that they aren't ideal because a lot of the sentence patterns and vocabulary seems a little bit artificial, not necessarily what we would use day to day in America or South Africa or Britain, wherever you're from. And but luckily I got some very good co-teachers, and my co-teachers were flexible and open-minded, so we were able to incorporate some of my ideas and into our lessons so that we could let the students experience some kind of different English instruction. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk about. I taught grades 3, 4, and 5, and I'm just going to go over some of my favorite activities that I did with my classes. Okay, so let's start with grade 5. Okay, I love my 5th graders because I get 2 classes with them per week. And our school is a little bit special, so I also got 1 more class per week with the advanced students in a class called Big Bang. They were the Sun class, okay? So this is one of my favorite activities we did for grade 5, okay? This is the warm-up I started with. In our course book, we did Follow Me except number 5 last semester, and then one of the things that was in the book was a section about Claude Monet. So the reading wasn't that interesting, so I decided to do an additional lesson about Monet to make it more relatable. And to make it even more relatable, I started with a warm-up about anime art, okay? And the 2 questions I had them think about was, what do you think about the picture and how does it make you feel, okay? So I showed them pictures of Naruto. They like Naruto, and Death Note. And as I showed them these pictures, I had on the board the 2 questions, and then we brainstormed adjectives to describe the pictures. So for example, this one might be scary, and how does it make you feel? I feel scared, okay? And of course, you have Pikachu and Ash, and then from Howl's Moving Castle. And the students really got into it because these are films that they've seen and that they like, so many people raised their hands to volunteer adjectives about what they thought about the picture. And then here are some of, I didn't take an actual picture of the board, but here are some of the words that students came up with. So yeah, scary, beautiful, exciting, warm, and then of course the teacher offered corrections if they weren't able to produce the right word, and we had these recorded on the board. Okay, and then after that we went into Monet. Okay, so they had already learned about Monet previously in the class, but we didn't really go in depth about what they thought about him and his artwork. So we learned about Impressionism, and I gave them a quick introduction. What is Impressionism? It's art that's based on the first feeling you have about something, okay? There's a lot of bright colors and less detail, okay? And then after that, I showed them the sentence pattern, okay? So every student, this sentence pattern is on the board. I think blah, blah, blah is very blah, 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 and this painting makes me feel blah, blah, blah. So we will use the adjectives that we brainstormed in the anime art activity to fill in these blanks as I showed them pictures of Monet's artwork, okay? So this one is called Impression Sunrise, and if you look on the back, you will need to write Impression Sunrise into that blank. I think Impression Sunrise is very blah, 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 okay? Beautiful, and then, oh, sorry, I had it in this slide, okay? And then this is actually one of the sentences a student wrote. She said, "This painting makes me feel lonely." And of course they didn't know these words previously, but lonely is a word that we brainstormed together as a class, so they were able to produce that. Okay? Alright, and then we have water lilies and poppies and the magpie. And yes, another one. This painting makes me feel cold. And then, so we just went through these, and then they had to write both sentence patterns for every painting, okay? And I thought this was a pretty fun activity. We were able to finish in one class period. Okay, 40-minute class period, okay? Alright, so that was grade 5, and now this is one of my favorite activities that we did for grade 4. Okay, so this was actually one of my demo lessons that I did in front of the administration. And it is from the book, so it was just adapted to make it more interactive for the students. Okay, so this is the chant that was in the book, and then first we practiced it, and then we came up with motions for it. So I don't know if I want to do it for you, but okay, I can do it for you, okay? Alright, so we did, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm cooking. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm singing. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm dancing. You're cooking, singing, and dancing. Wow, you're really cool. Okay, so they learned these motions. And then after that, we practiced it 1 or 2 times. And then I showed them this slide, okay? And then instead of the verbs that they had before, we would post pictures of other verbs on the board. And then, so instead of the previous ones, we would do like shopping, cooking, studying, and then number them like that. And then they'd be on the whiteboard, and then they can fill it in themselves and come up with their own motions for it. And actually, I thought this activity was very successful because even the really slow readers, by the end of the semester when we did the oral test, they were able to read this chant successfully on the oral test because we had done the motions and we had practiced in this way, okay? Even when I substituted it with different verbs, okay? Alright, so yeah, that was a fun thing for grade 4. And one thing that I really like that we did with grade 3 is we did reading, okay? We did some classes where they did something more interactive, but one thing that I really liked that we incorporated with grade 3 was we did regular story readings at school, okay, or in class. And at Dongxing, I was actually responsible for a weekly story hour. So I would read stories to 5th grade, 4th grade, 6th grade, everybody, and then they would do it in rotation. And I really liked this, so we incorporated it even more with 3rd grade because I think this is the grade where they need a lot of input, right? So some books that we read in class were The Cat in the Hat, Brown Bear, What Do You See? To learn colors. This is a very good book for learning colors. And also The Little Mouse, The Red Ripe Strawberry, and The Big Hungry Bear. And usually the format I would do story hour is I would tell them the story, and for difficult words within the story, I would try to ask them, elicit from them what it meant in the middle so that they could understand what was going on in the story. And at the end, I would ask them some comprehension questions, like what did the big bear want to eat, and stuff like that, okay? Alright, and not a stick, we did another activity with this, but I won't go into that. Okay, alright, so those are some things that we did for each grade, and then this is what we did in my Big Bang class, the Sun class. So these are the advanced learners in grade 5, okay? And we were able to do something like very different than what we usually do in class for these learners. And I'll go through 2 projects that we did with them during the semester. The first one is the International Food Project. And this one was actually a big pain in my butt to do with them because the students were not used to doing this format of a project. I think some I don't want to generalize for all students in Taiwan, but in my school, I feel like the students were more used to teachers spoon-feeding them information. And when I all of a sudden made them responsible for a project, a research project that they had to do, I think a lot of them didn't know how to handle it, and they were being lazy little bums. No, just kidding. Well, they were being a little bit lazy, but eventually I think they did get into the project, okay? So let's look at what we did. Okay, so first, since they were not familiar with the project, okay, it's last 5 minutes? Okay, alright, so I'll just go through this quickly. We did a lot of warm-ups. So first I introduced food in Taiwan, okay? And then I asked them some questions about it. Do you like to eat it? What flavors does it have? And then you'll see there's, we learned the English names for beef noodle soup and stinky tofu, etc. And then after that, I assigned them a country. So there were 6 groups, and each of them were given one of these countries to do a brief research project about the food in that country. Okay, and then warm-up number 2, they were given, they were asked to find 3 interesting facts about the countries, okay? And also 3 popular dishes that they ate in each country. And this is the research thing, so wow, it looks very long, right? But I gave them an example of a research project I did about Taiwan. So I went through each point with them to make sure that they understand what they had to do for the research project, okay? So I think the demo really helped with that. And then, okay, so the main task, the research project, and then, see, they're having fun. I let them use iPads for the first class, and then after that, I realized that they were just, some kids were hogging the iPad and fighting with each other, so we ended up going to the computer lab so that everybody could work at the same time. And then, so these were 2 of the better projects. For both classes, Mexico did the best, actually, and yeah, the groups did a great job. And yeah, so, and if you see the yellow post-it note, every week I would read over the things that they turned in, and I would write notes on the sticky notes to tell them what they needed to fix. Not everyone fixed it, but still, I think I did my part to try to tell them what needed to be fixed. And then, yeah, so this is the final product, okay? And then after that, I had everyone go home, and then they actually had to cook the dish that they researched and bring it into class. They tasted okay, like not really good, but they were okay, yeah? Okay, so, and then they did a presentation on the food, okay? And then after that, I did my part, and then my co-teachers and I, we went to City Super and we bought a bunch of food from other countries. Like we did charcuterie from France, and we did caprese salad from Italy, and also bought some German chocolate for the kids to try. So I introduced it to them and then let them try what I made, okay? And they really liked this, okay? How much time do you have left? 2 minutes? Okay. Quickly, okay, so second project, rap and songwriting project, okay? The goal for this one was creative writing and performance. Now you might think, oh, these students, they're only in 5th grade, how can they write a song and rap, right, in English? It seems impossible. So again, I'll go back to doing a lot of warm-ups with them in order to prepare them for the task itself, okay? So first we listened to I Can Go the Distance from Hercules, and I had them do fill in the words as they listen to the song, okay, so that they can learn the song as they go along. We sang it a few times to make sure they know. And then after that, warm-up number 2, I had them do simile, and we did a rap. This is from a Justin Bieber song with Jaden Smith. And then there's a lot of metaphors and similes inside the rap. So I had them read the rap and then write out what are the similes, the metaphors, and the slang. The slang is not that important, but the main part was that if we're going to write a song, if we're going to write a rap, they need to know what similes and metaphors are, right? Okay, so after that, warm-up number 3, we did poem writing, okay? So if you've heard of haikus and tankas, which are Japanese poems that rely on syllables, we did haikus and tankas, and they wrote their own, and these are the examples that I gave them. Okay, so I wrote these and gave them a sample. And then, so it has to do with the syllables, okay? And then these are some of the ones that they wrote. My favorite ones, one of them was written by Lily. This flower is so cute. That flower can light my house, 7. It's a sunflower, 5. Okay, so 5, 7, 5, haiku. Okay, and they all wrote one, okay? And then, so how can the song and rap writing be done? Okay, so we win this, okay. I think I'm out of time. Can I keep going?
Yes.
Okay, it's almost done. Okay, I will sing a song for you now to make it worth your while, okay? So, this is actually to the melody of the Hercules song that we learned in the beginning. I wrote this and I counted the syllables for the Hercules song and fit in my own words. So this one is, I will often go to a place I know to eat some good pizza and I don't have to share. It tastes like heaven when I take a bite, and when my friends come by, I will hide it from them too. Okay, so this is from the Hercules song, okay? Alright, so this is the original song. I separated it into 3 sections and we counted the syllables. So for the first one, I have often dreamed. That's 5, right? So I wrote it down like this for every single line, and we did this as a class, okay? And then after that, so this is for the rap. This is the rap that I wrote with the same syllables as the Jaden Smith, Justin Bieber rap, and I'm not gonna do it for you. Basically, every group, there are groups of 3, okay? And then every person was assigned one section at either S1, S2, or S3 for either the rap or song. They can choose which one. I recommended that the more advanced students do the rap because it's harder, and then the less confident English speakers do the song because it's easier and slower, okay? And then, yeah, after that, this is just my rubric, and then 75% of their grade would be how they wrote the rap or song. They needed to include at least one simile or metaphor, and they needed to make sure that the syllables fit. So the syllables had to be exactly the same as the syllables in the song for them to get full credit. And then the other 25 points was just for their performance, how well they got into it and did the song, okay? So, yeah, that's what I did, and that's the end.
Wow, I think your elementary students are better than my high school students.
Yes, I think so.
All right. Okay, well,